Welcome back to Chapter 1. Today I'm going to talk about a mystery movie named The Call. Spoilers ahead. When Seo Yun goes back to her childhood village, Sung Ho comes to get her and brings her to her family's house. He inquires as they go about whether she went to see her ailing mother in the hospital. When Seo Yun finds she left her phone at the station, she becomes anxious and doesn't reply. Seo Yun finds a cordless phone as soon as they get at the residence and plugs it in. Soon later, the phone rings. When she answers, she hears a woman accusing her mother of being insane and erroneously phoning someone else. The woman hangs up as soon as she discovers she phoned the incorrect number. Later, Seo Yun meets her mother's doctor, who explains that her mother has a brain tumor that can be operated on, but the surgery is very risky, and she needs to see a specialist. Seo Yun sits with her mother at the hospital, who tells her to start making arrangements for her funeral. When her mother requests to be buried with or near her father, Seo Yun becomes upset and storms out. She then visits her father's grave, which shows he passed away in 1999. Upon returning home, the mysterious phone call happens again, with the woman claiming to be calling from Seo Yun's own address. That night, a loud noise wakes Seo Yun, and she investigates, discovering that a picture has fallen off the wall. While trying to rehang it, she realizes the wall is fake and conceals a hidden room. After breaking through, she explores the room with a flashlight and finds a box filled with various items, including a girl's journal. As she flips through the pages, a photo of a girl falls out. Seo Yun later shows the photo to Sung Ho, who identifies the girl as Young Suk. He explains that the house once belonged to Young Suk's stepmother, who was a shaman. Sung Ho shares only the basic details and pretends he can't remember much more. Seo Yun notices that the photo is dated November 1999. She sees a store on her way home that shares the same name as the one the enigmatic caller, Soon-hee, had inquired about. Seo Yun gets another call that night, this time hearing the woman cry hysterically before her stepmother drags her away. When the stepmother tries to burn her, a fight breaks out, setting fire to the room Seo Yun had found. Seo Yun sees smoke and flames on the stairs when she looks through the hole she created in the wall earlier. After a while, the phone rings once more. Seo Yun mentions discovering a picture dated November 26, 1999 and informs the woman that she is aware that she is Young Suk. When Young Suk responds that it's just the 18th, Seo Yun reads a journal entry about the day before. She checks what she wrote, and when Young Suk confirms it's the same, she starts to panic. Seo Yun, realizing it sounds hard to believe, explains that they seem to be living in the same house but in different times. To test her theory, Seo Yun finds a newspaper article from November 18th and tells Young Suk to watch the news that evening for a story about a plane crash. That night, Young Suk has dinner with her stepmother, who threatens to send her back to the institution if she doesn't eat, so Young Suk hurriedly finishes her meal. After upsetting her stepmom, Young Suk watches the news and sees the plane crash report, confirming Seo Yun's story. She immediately calls Seo Yun again. The two begin bonding as Seo Yun shares future details, like her favorite musician's comeback and strange new technology that sounds futuristic in 1999. Young Suk reveals that her real mother is dead, and the woman tormenting her is her stepmother. In return, Seo Yun opens up about her father, who died in a house fire when she was young after her mother accidentally left the gas on. On November 21, 1999, Seo Yun and her family visit Young Suk's house, considering buying it. At this point, Seo Yun's father is still alive. Young Seo Yun rushes upstairs, and they come across Young Suk's room, asking her stepmother to open the door. When Young Suk sees the family, she quickly calls the older Seo Yun, letting her hear her father's voice, a touching moment, as Seo Yun hasn't heard it in 2 decades. Then Young Suk offers that she could pull Seo Yun's father out of the flames. Young Suk sneaks out of her house without her stepmom noticing on November 27th, the day Seo Yun's father is supposed to die, and heads to Seo Yun's old residence. Little Seo Yun is inside watching TV while her mother does her nails and makes lunch on the stove. Young Suk enters covertly after the mother departs and takes the house key as Seo Yun plays with her father. Young Suk arrives just in time to see the fire start. Back in the present, Seo Yun gets her phone back, and the burn scar on her leg vanishes. Suddenly, her house and surroundings transform. She goes downstairs and steps outside, where she discovers a beautiful glasshouse garden. Inside, she sees her mother and, to her shock, her father, too. Overcome with emotion, Seo Yun hugs her dad, who hasn't seen her cry in years. Later, she calls Young Suk to thank her. Seo Yun enjoys time with both her parents and shares new music with Young Suk over the phone. The two grow closer as they continue to talk regularly. But one day, Seo Yun is too busy spending time with her parents to answer Young Suk's calls. Young Suk becomes frustrated and angry when Seo Yun doesn't return her calls. When they finally reconnect, it becomes clear that Young Suk's mental state is deteriorating. Seo Yun hears terrifying screams over the phone, followed by Young Suk's stepmother warning her to stay away from Young Suk, or else she'll be in danger. In the past, Young Suk's stepmother believes she can perform an exorcism to help her, even as Young Suk pleads for her to stop. The stepmother strikes her and chants over her tear-streaked face while Young Suk apologizes, hoping to end the ordeal. Afterward, the stepmother visits Soon-hee's shop and notices Young Suk has been there, seeing the wound on her leg. Right now, Seo Yun can't help but search for Young Suk on the internet. When she can't locate her on social media, she looks up her location and finds a news story about Young Suk's terrible passing during her stepmother's exorcism. Seo Yun, whom Young Suk calls, expresses her concern that she might pass away that evening. Thinking that Young Suk is in her room, the stepmother gets a knife from the aquarium and goes to her room, where she ferociously stabs the bed. Young Suk, on the other hand, is not in bed and laughs at her stepmother before rendering her unconscious with a fire extinguisher. After that, having tasted blood for the first time, she confronts her stepmother and murders her. Young Suk calls Seo Yun, who is relieved to hear she is safe and feels reborn. The next scene shows Young Suk outside the house, happy to be free. She treats herself to a meal she enjoys and buys new clothes. In the present, Seo Yun greets Sung-ho, who delivers strawberries to her family. Everyone is excited about the fruit and thanks him. In the past, Young Suk also opens the door for Sung-ho, eager to show off her new clothes. She asks him about his opinion on her items while leaving him in the den to find more things. While Sung-ho organizes the strawberries in the kitchen, he finds foul-smelling black bags in the fridge. As he moves one, it drops, revealing it contains body parts, sending him into a panic. At that moment, Young Suk appears in a different outfit and gets angry for opening the bag before disappearing to fetch the fire extinguisher. Meanwhile, in the present, Seo Yun and her family enjoy tea and strawberries with Sung-ho's little dog. When the phone rings, Seo Yun answers and hears Sung-ho's cries from the past, along with Young Suk's anger over her ruined clothes. The call abruptly ends, leaving Seo Yun uneasy. When she returns downstairs, she realizes Sung-ho is no longer there and that her parents have never heard of him. She checks the fridge and then heads to his strawberry farm, only to find it abandoned. Seo Yun visits the local police station to inquire about him. The younger officer knows nothing, but the older officer recognizes the name. He shocks Seo Yun by revealing that Sung-ho has been dead for 20 years. The officer takes her to see his notes, detailing that Young Suk murdered him at her home. In the past, police visit Young Suk to ask about Sung-ho, unaware of her involvement in his death. She tries to deny knowing him, but the older officer detects inconsistencies in her answers. Despite her lies about her mother's absence, he notes the strawberry delivery at her home, making her anxious. Young Suk mentions a murder in the village, but the officer leaves her house, still suspicious. Eventually, older Seo Yun speaks with Soon-hee, the shop owner, to uncover the truth about Young Suk and her stepmother. Soon-hee recalls Young Suk as a well-behaved girl who would listen to her talk about her husband for hours. Young Suk once brings food into her room without permission and ends up hurting herself badly. She could have passed away if it weren't for her stepmother. Later, Young Suk phones Seo Yun while she is taking a bodily part out of the fridge to defrost. Seo Yun queries whether she killed Sung-ho right away. Young Suk lies, which caused Seo Yun to read an article in the newspaper about her life sentence and arrest for serial killing. Young Suk abandons her performance when she realizes how serious the situation is, proving to Seo Yun that she actually killed the strawberry farmer. In order to keep herself from being discovered, Young Suk is adamant that Seo Yun assist her in figuring out how the police learned about her crime. Seo Yun, terrified and crying, hangs up repeatedly, while Young Suk, angry and vengeful, keeps calling back. In 1999, the police continue to investigate Young Suk, noting her mental health issues. As Young Suk tries to reach Seo Yun, she hears a knock at the door. It's her younger self with her father, who mentions they're looking for her stepmom. Young Suk invites them in, claiming her stepmom must have dozed off. In the future, Seo Yun is with her dad, who notices she's anxious. He pulls over, lets her drive to cheer her up, and teaches her to be gentler on the brakes. Meanwhile, back in the past, Young Suk is preparing to harm her dad while Seo Yun is in the den with him, munching on strawberries. When Young Suk attacks, spraying her dad with a fire extinguisher, Seo Yun suddenly finds herself in a tunnel, witnessing her dad slowly vanish and the future shattering around her. Young Suk approaches the younger Seo Yun, blaming her for her father's death due to her failure to answer the phone. Present-day Seo Yun rushes home to find it in disarray, with Seo Yun, answer the phone written in blood on the floor. When the phone rings, she answers without hesitation. Young Suk taunts her about her dad's death, infuriating Seo Yun, who threatens her. However, Young Suk has the younger Seo Yun tied up, putting her in control. She gives Seo Yun an ultimatum: figure out how the police will arrest her in an hour, or she'll harm her mother. Seo Yun devises a plan to send Young Suk to a location where an accident will occur, intending to retroactively eliminate her. She directs Young Suk to a place where a gas explosion will happen, claiming that the man who finds the bloody knife will be there. But Young Suk escapes just before the explosion, leaving Seo Yun furious. Young Suk expresses her anger by burning her younger self with scalding water, causing scars to appear on older Seo Yun. She then plays a voice message from Seo Yun's mom, threatening that she's coming after them, and reveals that Seo Yun was actually responsible for her father's death. Seo Yun's mom had turned off the gas before leaving, but Seo Yun mistakenly turned it back on. Feeling desperate, Seo Yun breaks into the police station to find her file. She discovers how the police eventually caught Young Suk and realizes she can use this information to send her to the right place. Young Suk finds the man who discovers the knife she thought she disposed of and kills him as well. As information about her mom searching for Seo Yun appears in the police officer's notebook, Seo Yun witnesses the events of the past unfold, with the officer deciding to help her mom when he learns their planned location. Suddenly, all the details about Young Suk vanish, and the house starts to transform again. Seo Yun flees but continues to read that her mom and the officer went to look for Young Suk and her dad. Young Suk falsely claims they left earlier, but Seo Yun's mom discovers her hair bow. She and the officer request to check the second floor, but they find nothing. When Seo Yun returns to the house in the future, she learns that Young Suk has built a notorious reputation as a serial killer. She goes down to the room she found at the start and locates the phone there. In the past, Seo Yun's mom decides to call her husband's phone to see if he's home. Instead of reaching her husband, she accidentally calls her daughter in the future, urging her to escape. At the same time, Young Suk strikes Seo Yun, cutting off the call. In the past, Young Suk murders the officer right in front of her mother and demands the phone. The older Young Suk mocks Seo Yun while her younger self calls. They struggle for the phone until Seo Yun manages to knock Young Suk out and seize it. A simultaneous chase unfolds in both timelines, with Young Suk pursuing Seo Yun and her mom. They both take refuge in the same room while the maniac pounds on the door. The phone rings and it's Seo Yun's mother calling the police. She is urged to calm down and get a weapon to defend herself by Seo Yun from the future. After locating a fire extinguisher and taking out the safety pin, the mother gets ready for Young Suk to enter. Regretfully, Young Suk from before comes up with a ruse, calling for her mother to entice her out. As soon as her adult self approaches the door, Young Suk throws a knife at her mother. Young Suk grabs the knife before her mother can stab her, and they battle. When Young Suk eventually walks into the room, Seo Yun from the future notices that there is blood on the walls from the struggle. The older Young Suk disappears from the future, leaving Seo Yun alone in the empty house. Later, Seo Yun races to the graveyard, fearing her mom is dead too. To her relief, her mom appears, smiling and asking why she's upset. Seo Yun feels joy at her mom's survival and realizes she's actually quite wonderful. Thank you for watching everyone. Subscribe to my channel for more movie recap. Take care everyone.